time for the most motivational segment in all of sports. It's the Budless. This also used to be a time where we read fake viewer mail from two twins named Ryan and Brian and their parents,
fake?
Dawn and Dawn. No, I'm just joking. But now we're reading real YouTube comments that I print out.
And we still have letter reading music.
Yeah, well, I'm still reading it.
We could have YouTube comment music.
Ramsey, do we have YouTube reading comment? In any event, this is from AJ Chase 12. I think it's time to make it up to Brew for the Cowboy Brew body, which you never liked, and give him his real strong body doing something at the Olympics. Wow. Well, I thought that was a good idea. Your real strong body doing something at the Olympics equestrian.
I don't know if that's a real strong body, but it's solid and lean.
Fit.
I know. I would like to look like that.
And those riding pants look wonderful.
Can I?
Big leg.
Before you start, Brew, can
I do like that. No gut.
Brew has his own office. Wildes has his own office. I do all my prep in the conference room with everyone. And like about 2 hours ago, I was head down working, and I heard the entire other end of the table just start uproariously laughing. And I was like, what's going on? And they were like, you'll see it on the show. And it was that picture right there.
I like that picture.
Yeah.
Excellent job.
It's something for me to shoot for, that body. Yeah.
All right, time for the Bud list.
That's it?
Yeah.
What more do you want?
Well, usually you put like 3 quotes on
Good.
it.
Another.
I'm just
Ramsey,
saying.
do you have any other Photoshop of him looking
through the
handsome?
comments. There were a lot of great ones you could have put in there. I'm just saying, I was getting love. I expected a little more. That's all. All right, at number 3, Micah Parsons.
Ah.
I'm going to give Micah some credit. Some people might think I'm wrong about this.
Okay.
He hasn't made us think about his contract.
That's true.
And now he could go out and get hurt, which would be sad for everybody. But I give him credit for it. Obviously, Dak's situation, CD's situation. He knows he's going to get his payday next year. So he's going out there and ready to dominate. But he has, Micah, you have put a target, a bigger target, I should say, on your back when you said, when I'm in rhythm, I'm paraphrasing, when I'm in rhythm, that was direct quote, in rhythm, there's nothing the offense can do. And what I say to Micah is I agree, but here's the key. You have to stay in rhythm, Micah, because you don't. I don't know if you get worn down, going against bigger guys a lot of the time, but you have faded the last 2 years, and that contributes to their lack of success in the playoffs. All right, so the last 2 years ago, you had 1.5 sacks in the last 6 games. You had 13.5 for the season, but only 1.5 in the last 6 games. Last year, 2.5 sacks in the last 6 games. You have 14 for the season. And here's where it hurts in the playoffs. He's got 4 playoff games he's played in. You want to guess how many sacks?
1.
I know you. 1 sack! Come on! 0 sacks in his last 2 playoff games. Only 2 quarterback hits in your last 2 playoff games. Now, Mike, the offense, you got no running backs, despite Nick thinking Rico Dowdle's about to be a Pro Bowler.
Someone's gonna do it.
And the defense is gonna have to be phenomenal for the Cowboys to be contenders. So I do believe in you, Mike. I think you're ready for a great year, but you can't fade down the stretch. All right, at number 2, Brandon Aiyuk. And this is in the category of be careful what you wish for. Okay. Now, I'll give you credit, Brandon. Wildes, I'm sorry, but you smartly said, no way!
Not yet.
Am I going to the New England Patriots? You still holding out hope?
Well, I didn't see the signature on the dotted line.
No way. Despite them willing to give you the bag that no other team was willing to give you at this point, you still smartly said, I do want to put up some numbers. I do need somebody to throw me the football. So that's smart. Cleveland, you did it too, and I get it. They're not the organization that the Steelers are. But I think just present day, very similar situations in that the quarterback situation is in flux and uncertain. Now, maybe DeShaun Watson could get back to being a good quarterback, or maybe, same for Russell Wilson, maybe Justin Fields will explode and this will be the franchise for him. But you have to be careful because right now, you are in a good situation. I get it that you want the money, I understand that, but you got a very good quarterback that you have a rapport with. You're pretty much the #1 receiver. You have other weapons that the defense has to focus on so they can't zero in on you, and you would get the bag next year, especially, I mean, I don't know if a Super Bowl will change the money you get, but you do have a chance to win a Super Bowl, and the bag will be coming next year. So just be careful. If you leave the Niners, make sure you go to a good situation. That's all I'm saying for a receiver. All right, at #1, DeShaun Watson, the aforementioned. Now, I know, honestly, we've shied away from talking about DeShaun for reasons that some people will understand, but it's time because the Cleveland Browns, very good defense, very good running game, and if you get Brandon Aiyuk, I mean, you got Jerry Jeudy you added, who I think is a good #2 receiver, and Aiyuk will be a very good #1 receiver. You got Njoku at tight end. Like, you've got pretty much everything that you need to compete for not only a playoff spot, but actually win a couple games in the playoffs, except maybe at quarterback. Yeah. Maybe. DeShaun, you're only going to be 29 years old in September. All right, like, can you? It's asking too much, I imagine, for you to get back to being a top 5 quarterback like you were in Houston. But how about 90% of that guy? Can you be 90% of that guy? Because you've been bad. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I know you went 5-1 last year as a starter, but that was kind of despite you. You're 61% of your passes completed, threw for less than 200 yards a game. That just goes to show that if you can be 90% of what you were in Houston, this team could actually do some damage in the AFC. So I don't know if I believe in you. To be honest, I just haven't seen much the last few years, but you are young enough where you would think that you can rekindle some of that fire you had in Houston. So it's on you, DeShaun Watson.
All right. Excellent Budless, as always, Brew. Before I give my addition, I give a little bit of a preamble. One of the new trends for young people coming out of college is the more you can do. Be able to do a lot of different things, be versatile, multifaceted. Thank you, Brew. And I don't know if that's an improvement on how things once were, because once upon a time, we had very specialized professions. You needed a fresh fish, you know where you went to? The local fishmonger. Thank you. You needed your chimney swept, you know what you called? No. The chimney sweep. The chimney sweep. Hey, you needed some shoes? Called the cobbler. Yeah. Your horse needed some shoes. You called the blacksmith.
You call them, or you would have to have to visit?
You'd probably have to go visit, exactly. You needed to wake up in the morning. They didn't have alarm clocks.
No.
There was a job called the knocker-upper. That's true.
Really?
Yeah, came by and just knocked on your window. Swear to God, look it up, Brew. Look it up. Back in the day, before rope, knocker-upper would shoot peas at your window or just knock on the glass.
That's true.
It definitively is true.
Roosters?
Shooting peas?
It definitively is true.
Peas?
Please allow me to continue.
What you're talking about? Shooting peas.
Peas not even going to make a loud noise.
Okay,
How about
it is
rocks?
true. You know what my great-granddad did for a summer job?
He was a
pin setter. It was a bowling alley.
Oh,
it was before robots took the job.
That's not even that long ago.
So here's the thing. Here's the point I'm making. Okay. Maybe we need to get back to that. Because list maker maybe should be a job, because it can't be entrusted to these dopes across media and across NFL players. So I'm putting all list makers under duress. Go ahead, thank you. List making needs to be left to professionals. Me. And because we have folks who think they're professional list makers who go on TV and be like, a top 5 list is too overwhelming. It should be a top 8 or a top 12. And they're like, no, actually no. Top 5 and top 10 should be 5 or 10. And it's like, oh, well, that's the media. They are unfair. They have biases. And it's like, let's leave it to the players. And then the players make a list of the best players and leave the best player off the top 3. Yeah. So listen, it is a heavy burden and a hard one to carry, but I will take it. Wow. I will be America's official sports list maker.
You're giving up the podcast.
No, well, it'll be in conjunction with it. And Brew, while you're out next week, every day next week, we'll show them how it's done.
Wow.
Every day at 4 o'clock.
Do I get to make some
Any hit on what the list
Yes,
will
I'm
be?
a list maker too.
No.
Yes,
no.
I am.
You can be my apprentice.
No, I'm not going to be your apprentice.
You can be my, you can learn at my knee. This is something.
Where did you intern? A list place?
Well,
Where did I
I
return?
taught Nick how to make
Oh,
lists.
I forgot.
That was-
Sorry. Wildes did intern from the Grand Maester of list makers,
Yeah. Hello.
David Letterman, with the top 10 list.
I'll
That
bet
is
you
true.
was.
But yeah, I'm putting all list makers on the Bud list because
Wow.
it's too big of a job to have these people.
Cobblers
filing.
That was
on the
interesting.
Bud
That was,
Yeah.
I learned something in that
Yeah.
segment.
Did ya?
Yeah,
the P
the
thing?
knocker uppers.
Look it
whatever
up.
they're called.
Look
The
it up.
knocker uppers.
Fact check me.
That
Fact check
wasn't
me.
about waking up in the
Ps.
morning.
I'm not sure about the P's. but
yeah, okay.
I do
Fact
believe there
check.
were knocker uppers.
In any event, back to real analysis after that. I'm putting the Ravens defense on the Bud list.
What is it you have against the Ravens?
I like the Ravens. My son took a picture with Lamar Jackson. That's why I put Ravens defense on.
Okay.
It's because of this. Patrick Mahomes has promised on this very show to throw a behind-the-back pass. Now, he's experimented with it indoors. He did a few times. It's like, that one's not really going to work. Then he started to do it in practice by himself a little bit. And we're like, okay. Then he was practicing just target practice. But this week, we have gotten to the point where 11 on 11, Patrick Mahomes is throwing behind-the-back passes for touchdowns to Pacheco. So now the poor Ravens defense are going to play an upset and out for blood Patrick Mahomes, who is named number 4 on the aforementioned list.
Terrible list.
That will never happen again. So I'm not saying he's going to throw it, but you don't want to be the team that he throws it against. Now you think he's going to save it for the Raiders.
I do.
He might want to put up such a light show, though. They might not even get in within the 5-yard line. So the Ravens defense does need to sit down, put these plays on the projector, and start saying, all right, look, if he starts rolling out to the right and Pacheco goes through the line, someone has to pick him up. Because the other thing you have to worry about, Brew, the fake behind the back pass. And when this eventually happens, when the dam breaks, you will tell your grandchildren,
Yes.
you know what? When I was growing up, a behind-the-back pass was front page news.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? It'll be like that Michael Jordan dribble.
Exactly right.
Like, really, Grandpa? They just do behind-the-back pass all the time. Like, believe it or not, no. Now it's just commonplace. You're going to have football's Kyrie out there eventually, making everybody look silly. But tune into the Ravens game, because you might see history made. Or maybe not, if the Ravens defense pays attention. But I believe in you, Mahomes.
Wow. Well done. Well done.
He's going to be the pistol.
I think if Mahomes is watching this or watches a tape of it, that might encourage him to do it. And that's good
I
because
think
it's about motivation.
I think he has
and
too much
inspiration.
respect for Baltimore.
Respect.
What about because Lamar? I mean, I'm sure he respects Lamar, but him being
But I don't think he holds that against Lamar. Again, this is my speculation. I don't think he will do this the first time. If it starts becoming a part of the repertoire, that's one thing. I don't think he will do it the first time against a team that could make some noise. That's why the Raiders exist. So you can do ring around the rosy, you can do things like that. You don't have to worry about giving them a chip on their shoulder.
I believe that.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.